My favorite afternoons when I was a kid was always when my mom would make a pot of Twinings English breakfast in our big brown Betty. We had one that had like 8 cups worth in it. Twinings Irish English breakfast. And she would read a story to us. And it was always, not always, but a lot of the time it was a rainy afternoon when we couldn't play outside because there was something to do. So she would read stories to us. And I'm wearing this shirt because this was my mom's shirt. And one of my first memories of her is wearing this shirt, like with this light coming through the window. And she was just the most beautiful lady. So I'm going to do something a little bit different today. And I'm going to read you a story that I wrote. Tea time with me, Liesl. Waking Dreams by Liesl Eppes. The question resurfaces in the girl's brain. Where is he, and what is he doing right now? She runs through a list of possibilities. Napping, watching a movie, laughing at someone's joke, needing a hug, listening to the same song as me? Of course, she always comes back to her most intriguing question. What does he look like? Ah, yes. I understand if that last question is somewhat confusing. After all, how could you wonder about someone you've never met? You see, the girl simply has a very strong feeling that the boy exists, and that it is only a matter of time until they meet. She believes that she will see him before he sees her. She believes that she will know him at first sight, and that she will love him forever, never letting him go. She is unfortunately mistaken on at least one of these counts. Nevertheless, there is something in her brain that lingers, an invisible golden string tying their fates together. She believes in this fate with more conviction than anything else in her life, and it is for this reason that she hasn't told a soul. She wonders if the boy thinks of her too. She imagines that he can see her from time to time as a picture in his head. She hypothesizes that he can see her only when she focuses on him and sends her image to him, like telepathic radar. The girl ultimately decides that this idea is the most childish of them all. Her more realistic side tells her that this is probably all in her head, and that when she does meet the boy, she will discover that he has never been able to see her until their first meeting. She is, of course, mistaken in at least one aspect of these theories. The first time the girl appeared to the boy, she was singing his favorite song. He saw her through a window, and he looked into her eyes, trying to figure out where he had seen her before. The boy saw the girl not as a picture, but as short visions, complete with all the sounds, smells, and motion that surrounded the girl. The longest of these visions lasted precisely 57 seconds. She was drinking champagne, sitting on a porch, and silently crying, while the light from inside illuminated her hair. The boy believed in the common assumption that the human brain is incapable of generating new faces, that all the faces we see in dreams we have seen somewhere before. This assumption, along with many more that I don't have time to mention here, is incorrect. The second time he saw her, the girl was sitting at a desk covered in papers and whatnots. She sipped eggnog directly from the carton and was eating a cinnamon roll. At this point, the boy thought it was an odd coincidence to have pictured the same girl twice. As you may have guessed by now, it was not a coincidence. Having the ability to now call up the girl's face from memory, the boy decided that the third vision, and consequently all the visions after that, were daydreams he had imagined on purpose. This decision, however, did nothing to lessen the vision's impact on the boy's mind. The girl was standing on the beach. A storm rumbled on the horizon, and the boy could see the sea reflected in her eyes. An inexplicable energy and calm, was simmering through her spirit. The boy thought to himself, I have an incredible imagination. This was the most inaccurate conclusion that he could have come to. I will now take a moment to explain one crucial element of this story to you. The boy and the girl, as you may have surmised, are not ordinary people. They will not fall in love at first sight, nor will they fall in love after being friends for 5 years. They are the rare sort of people who fall in love long before they ever meet. The girl believes that if she keeps looking, she will find the boy. The boy believes that she is the product of his imagination. The girl wants to avoid loneliness. The boy wants to avoid neediness. Of course, it is the abandonment of these beliefs and desires that will ultimately lead to their fateful meeting, which will involve a more than slightly drippy ice cream cone. The girl will learn how to enjoy her own company. She will be forced to spend 3 months living alone when her roommate gets a new job in a new city. The girl will experience her first moment of solitary joy, made perfect because of her solitude rather than in spite of it. It will happen at 7:34 a.m., May 1st. She will be walking back to her apartment with her morning coffee and bagel, and notice the sun through the trees. A pigeon will look at her and hop a bit. She will realize that this is the first time in her life that she is glad no one else is with her. It is the best breakfast of her life. The boy will learn to ask for help. He will be forced to accept the help of his sister when he breaks both of his legs in a motorcycle accident. He will realize that true strength lies in the ability to be vulnerable. He will realize this one night while people watching from the living room window. He will see a father and a daughter walking. The father will be carrying a truly ridiculous amount of groceries. His young daughter will reach into his pocket and grab the keys to their building. As she unlocks the door for her father, it becomes clear. Help does not make one weak. At this moment, the boy's sister will return with food from his favorite Mexican restaurant, and they will proceed to have the most eye-opening and in-depth conversation of their lives, during which they will truly understand each other for the first time. It is the best dinner of his life. It will be the 1st of June when the girl steps onto a train headed towards the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and the boy steps onto the same train, heading to meet his friends for drinks. There will be 2 cars separating them, the closest they have ever come to each other. They will both exit the train at 86th Street. The girl exits to cut through Central Park. The boy will look up and see her, walking away exactly 15 seconds before the doors close. He will exit the train here, 3 stops too early. He will leave his second favorite jacket on the train, which will later be found by an old woman who jumped a turnstile. She will wear it whenever she feels in need of luck. The girl will stop to buy an ice cream, which will give the boy just enough time to catch up. The girl will be strolling past the reservoir and making sure not to drip chocolate on her shirt when the boy taps her on the shoulder. When she turns around, they will stare at each other for precisely 57 seconds before knowing what to say, at which point the boy will lead with the ultra suave, "Hey," and the girl will follow it up with a classic, "Hi." An elderly man with a funny hat will spot them from his favorite reading bench. He will watch the exchange and sketch it out in his sketchbook. 30 years later, after buying a used copy of the book Everything is Connected, Art and Conspiracy, the daughter of the boy and the girl will find this sketch bookmarked into the table of contents. She will keep the sketch in her wallet. There are 3 crucial things that will never occur to her. 1. That it is a sketch of her parents' first meeting. 2. That if she knew the name of the artist, she could be rich. And 3. that this was truly his finest work because it captured something few artists or humans ever have the privilege of witnessing, a moment of pure, serendipitous serenity. The end. I hope you enjoyed my story. It's one of my favorite ones. I feel like I was really able to say exactly what I meant with that story. Of course, it took me 13 drafts, but there you go. Thanks for joining me for tea. Join me again next week when I will do something else. And if you want more tea, click on another clicky click and have some more tea.